Hello guys, today we are back again, and today I don't have a lot of time, but we are going to be discussing the topic of why communism failed. It's quite a broad subject, but I'm going and trying to narrow it down to the main factors, to the main points. My English may not be that good, but I think it's good enough that you can understand it. And without further ado, let's start. I have a piece of paper. Number one, and it's the most obvious cause, economic inefficiency. So, what are we talking about here? So, um, the central authorities, you do remember in communism, is people stop owning things and the free market ceases to exist. Now it's the government which controls and regulates everything. And governments are corrupt and inefficient. Now, what happens? The central authorities do not manage to control every tingling point of a large economy. If it's an economy within your own house, you can, but even then you're going to struggle. But now these are large, complex economy catering for millions of people. It's not going to be effective. There's going to be shortages of food and even basic supplies, and people are going to go hungry. They are going to lack essential needs. They are going to be discontented in the system, and they are going to revolt against it. The communists to some degree managed to fix that, even suppress the discontent. But eventually, when your empire built on this set of house of cards, when your empire weakens, the system is going to collapse and nobody is going to want it anymore. And that's general point number one. Number two, uh, and this one is so obvious, no functioning market signals for supply and demand. um, it was a good idea in that time because they saw how people are suffering. Now they think we can redistribute everything from that wealthy class, and ironically, the people who are doing this, they ended up becoming the wealthy class. It's so ironic. They do not live humble lives. So uh, so the lack of functioning signals of supply and demand, they didn't realize this was the core basic what do we call it, the core point of the economy of the world, or even any form of economy. Even if we leave aside that part of the free market and stuff, you still need demand and supply signals, and the communist economy does not have this. Now you'll be forced to adapt it, and those who do not adapt it fail. Even the pioneers of communism, the people who adapted it first in huge scale, the Russian communists, they also, after it failed massively and produced several famines, they had to revert to a semi what do we call it, semi autonomous system, because if you fail in that single aspect, your whole system is gone. Then number two, no satisfaction in labor bringing any form of innovation. If I'm just going to get very lackluster things like just an improved apartment building and a shoddy car for inventing very cool things, it's not that promising. And that's why you see in places like the United States, there's a lot of innovation, because you see how the billionaires, the rich people are living. So when you see that, you will want to live up, you want to work hard and get that. But now in the Soviet economy, you cannot get that. Everything is flat. There's no social classes, and social classes are very essential for innovation, because people will aspire to there, and you'll bring innovation to your country. Those people will, yes, get better lives than other people, but you'll get innovation that benefits the entire populace. And of course, the pioneers of communism did not know that. And even now, those the countries that still remain with communism, they are trying to adapt this, keeping a balance between letting these rich people keep the money and letting the innovations take place. Yeah, that's the kind of balance they are attempting right now. It's not. In fact, that's the best way so far. That's the best economic system that there is in the world, or even the socio-political system, socio-political economic system in the world. The one in China is currently the best in the world. Uh, the United States one has a lot of problems. There's extremely high inefficiency and inequality. Innovation is taking place, but the social quality of life is not there. Number three, authoritarianism. Authoritarianism is not bad if you have the correct leader on top. Take somebody like Ataturk. Ataturk transformed Turkey. We have deviated the topic a little bit from communism, but I'm just showing you an example of how authoritarianism can be good if a leader is very smart in a lot of aspects, military, economic, social. Well and good, let him be an authoritarian and he'll take your country from point A to point B, as long as he has the cards of for it, and you can see an active of track record of him improving that, and if he doesn't, overthrow him. But now the problem with authoritarianism comes when an incompetent authoritarian comes into power, and these are the most common authoritarians. A good example is in China. uh, there are two types of people there were two two leaders that appeared at the same time, and they were very contrasting in what they achieved. Number one, there was Mao. Mao was a very effective military general, and even for the economic view, he had a good idea, but he still did not understand this basic economic part. So he created the system he created resulted in a very bad famine. And now Deng Xiaoping, um, he was smart enough to realize that cannot work, but he somehow managed to blend in the free market traits into communism, and he made it work. Mao was kind of a rigid person. Now you see, if you have a bad authoritarian in power, your system is most likely going to fail. Number three, comparative analysis. And this one is very simple. If somebody sees how people are suffering in a communist country, the famines, the there is even inequality, but it's not major. There's the famine, as I've said, and then there's the general low quality of life, or even low motivation for people to work and achieve things. And then you see in the West, the economies are growing. You're seeing the technology is growing. They have their problems, yes, but you're going to look at it and see, wait, if I see if I look at this system, I see in the communist one, most people are not. There's some few people are happy, but most of them are not. And even this one, some few people are happy, but most people are not. But what is the difference between the quality of life? And you're going to see the quality of life and the survivability of the United States over the which is the free will, free market, blah blah blah, compared to the communist one. You're going to see and look like at it and say, huh, I want that life. That life is so beautiful for me. I can work hard and be anything. But this one, I'll be a slave to the government for the rest of my life. So people generally see that system in the United States is better than communism. And then there's the communist ideologists. They go down, uh, reducing their ideological standpoint, diluting it. Even they may lose power. Yeah, and then even communist empires fall, like the USSR. It did not it did not adapt fast enough, and it did not adapt um, slow enough. What do I mean by this point? It should have adapted fast enough, like saying that is not good, that is not good, you're going to improve it at it, like that, like China, the way it does, and you're going to make this country the most economically sound. They did not do that well. When I say they adapted too fast enough, like what Deng who was it, I'm forgetting this guy, Gorbachev. What Gorbachev did, he gave people free will and free speech and blah blah blah, those things, the freedoms, too fast. He did not make their lives good fast, and even intermix the ethnicities well enough fast before he gave them this. Now his loophole created nationalistic identities that led to the group of what do we call that? Yet Yeltsin, Boris Yeltsin and friends, creating that pact between the leader of him, the leader of his version of Russia, and then the leader of the version of Ukraine we have today, and then the leader of Belarus, the version of Belarus we have then. They made a coup under the Soviet system because the nationalistic uh, tendencies had been let loose. And then what do? What did they do? They split the country between themselves. Now that's what I meant. Number four, suppression of freedoms. I think we have covered that well enough. Um, yeah, it's. I think it's so depressing when the state controls every aspect of your life. It's so depressing. And then even things that you know and see clearly they are doing wrong, you cannot speak against them. Free speech is very limited. Now, when that system collapses, and especially the nation on top of that system, not only are the people who are in that system not going to say they do not want to see it anymore, but also these nations that had been influenced by it are now studying it and saying, well, that ideology is not that good, we are also going to abandon it. So the wow factor that emanated first in communism, like everything is equal, everything is fair, it's a very good message. But the more the critical scholarship and evidential basis to refute it comes into play, nobody is going to be pushing that ideology, and very few people are going to be accepting it. I still see communist clubs here and there, but the shot they have at taking over countries, not even the world, countries, it's very low. So that's what suppression of freedoms get you. And number five, availability of luxuries. Because of that form of government controlled economy, no free will, no free trade or something, it is impossible to get status. People work and innovate based on the motivation of getting a higher social status. That is intrinsically human nature. People, it's even in evolutionary science, or even evolutionary science, of how as the selfish gene tends to survive on top of the one that's lazier. That's how life evolved. But then if you have this system that neutralizes it and says everything is equal, you're just going against nature. It's not going to work, it's not going to be very compatible. So, and how people could not access status. You could not have good housing, land, cars, good cars, and this further deepened public discontent of the system of it, especially places where the ethnic groups were suppressed, or even people who had succumbed to it without pushing it. And even now, the people who had pushed it, when they learn about it, they are saying, no, 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 I do not want to be part of this system again. Uh, those were five brief reasons why communism failed. And what should we learn as we go forward? Number one, to provide a structure that provides free basic needs. It should be a blend of free market and communism, but even better. You should not go to the levels of freedom, or like recklessness that is in the US, that you have homeless people, homeless people in a first world country. Like, the system is so broken, even you cannot afford healthcare. So we should not be that free of a market economy. Number one, the free basis market economy, even for the basic needs, should be there. but the government should still provide the free basic needs. And then and then what? Uh, these basic needs should be there to maintain the quality of life of people. So we should not be careless as a government as the United States have been. So that's number one. Number two, enable warranted free speech that only filters out bad things like hate speech, false information, brainwashing, extremist religious dogma, and anti-ideologic speech. Those few ones. If somebody is seeing something wrong, he or she should have the freedom to critique that. Something wrong should be critiqued as long as there's a data basis for critiquing it. So that's number two. Oh, and let me repeat that point clear. If you see something and it's wrong and you have the data points for critiquing it, not just opinion is wrong, data points of disagreeing with something, then present that evidence and critique it. People should have the freedom of at least doing that. And another point China has done, and I also agree with it. If somebody is trying to talk about a subject, do not talk about a subject without even the minimal what the minimal qualification of it. If you want to talk about, I'll be caught in that system, but if it was there, I'm going to adapt to it. If you're going to talk about economics and how people should do their finances, have credentials for that, and there should be created short courses, just to like one month courses to enable people to speak on those topics. Do not need to be an expert of like 3 months or even 4 years. Just 1 month training and you pass the basic data points of that topic you want to speak of, you can now be allowed to speak on that topic. And I think that's it filters me out right now, but and it should be very cheap. It filters me out right now, but I'm saying this is something that should be made affordable and should help filter out people who are spreading misinformation on the internet. uh, and going to number three, we should provide the healthiest business environment possible, the freest market structure possible, low on taxes, um, no extreme regulations that warrant corruption or block innovation. We should have the freest of markets possible, but should not compromise of on quality or the well-being of people. And and this will help us sustain the highest quality of life possible, even better than the United States. Uh, Number four, at the democratic leadership. The leadership should be democratic and should be based on a structure that is ground up, a grassroots movement, that the person at the very bottom has a say of who will be at every single seat, and the people who are elected on the top, it should not be one authoritarian leader who goes for like decades. No, one leader who goes, no, a group of leaders, a council that goes for at least what should it be, 3.5, 3 to 4 years. We'll make that decision later, but a term should be, no, even I'm going to make that decision now. The term should be 3 years, and that council at the very top should go at least 3 terms, 3 3-year terms, and that is 9 years. And then they have to resign from those top positions and now go back to the down positions and give other people the chance to be there. And it's the people who say who should be or who should not be on that position by voting in free and fair elections that follow that grassroots pattern from the ground up, within councils of councils. No individual man should be responsible for the lives of millions of people in even one single factor. Now, these are some of the aspects we should learn from this, and we should make note of this. I'm going to talk about this topic further, and while presenting my ideological standpoints. And I think that's it for today. I hope I've not taken too much time. This was intended to be a very short video. And thanks for watching. See you another time.